Hello and welcome to Thursday's edition of Cracking the Cryptic on what I suspect might be a very short video, and not because I'm in any way anticipating that this is an easy puzzle, but the opposite. I rather suspect I won't be able to do this one. This is called Renrenbanban, and it's by Darth Paradox, a name I'm not actually familiar with at all. Why am I trying this? Well, we had a really interesting email from somebody called Senator Gronk, and I think Senator Gronk is a constructor that we've done on the channel before, and I have a feeling is Senator Gronk is another of these geniuses. Anyway, Senator Gronk's email was basically saying that this is an absolutely extraordinary puzzle, and we should try and have a go at it. So I went to Logic Masters Germany to review its rating. And unfortunately, it's only been solved once, and that is by Senator Gronk. So this is literally a total flyer I'm taking today. I'm starting the video earlier than usual, anticipating that I may have to try another puzzle later on. I shouldn't really apologise because you'll never see the video if I can't do it. Anyway, I will read you the rules to this one in a moment. But fundamentally, what seems to happen is that these funny purple lines in the grid are called Double Renban lines. So they have to sort of contain two sequences of consecutive digits of equal length. I mean, it's a bonkers idea, absolutely bonkers. Anyway, we'll get to that in a moment or two. I have got some things to tell you about first. The other thing I should mention is that none of our testers could do this puzzle, so this really is, we are really taking a flyer. But I've got some very cool birthdays and anniversaries to tell you about, so let me start with that. I'll start off with Kate over there in Tennessee, in Chattanooga. Now Kate has turned 58 today. Now Kate, I remember from last year reading out a really poignant message. Kate's a retired US Navy captain and has been battling with cancer, and we had the most wonderful email, Kate, from your son Mitchell. You must be so proud of him. I know Mitchell graduated from university just last Saturday, so congratulations on that, Mitchell. And you know, Kate, we just want to wish you all the best with your treatment, and I hope that you're able to have an absolutely brilliant day today with Mitchell. And I'm not sure what cake you're having. I know the cake is left to you, not to me. I think Mitchell was prepared to do chocolate cake or to get chocolate cake for you, but he thought you might choose something else. But anyway, Kate, all the very best and have an absolutely super day. Now, Chris is over there in Oklahoma. And Chris, it's your anniversary today, and I know this because your wife Jamie wrote to us, and Jamie wanted to thank you, Chris, for all the love and support that you've showed her I think over all of your time together, but particularly over the tough times you've had in the last year. So Chris and Jamie, a very happy anniversary from Mark and from me. I think you can celebrate anniversaries with cake, can't you? So make sure you get some. And then another anniversary, this time for Emmy and her husband Jeff. It's your 10th wedding anniversary today. Now Jeff wrote to us, and he basically wrote to us to tell Emmy that he loves you, and he's a maths teacher and even uses Cracking the Cryptic in the classroom sometimes. So Jeff, well, we appreciate that. And Emmy and Jeff, on your 10th wedding anniversary, what is the 10th wedding anniversary gift? I don't know. I'm not even going to guess, actually. I will just, maybe it's a Sudoku. It really should be. And then finally, Chris, I think, who's better known as Koto, from your wife Cassia. And Chris apparently solves at least one Sudoku a day with us. And Chris, it's your birthday, and I hope you're able to have the suitable amount, the correct amount of chocolate cake, which is basically only a small amount of cake and an enormous amount of chocolate icing, as you'll already know if you've been watching the channel for any amount of time. Now, anything else to mention? Get yourselves over to Patreon, check out DiMono's wonderful novel / Sudoku hunt. I've got nothing else to tell you. I'm anticipating a very short video. So why don't I just read you the rules of Renrenbanban by Darth Paradox, and we'll have a quick go at this and see where we go from there. So the rules are: place the digits 1 to 9 once into each row, column and 3 by 3 box. That's just normal Sudoku rules. And you can tell actually that the testers haven't prepared this puzzle for me, because normally they would have changed that wording of the rules to normal Sudoku rules apply. Digits must not repeat along the marked diagonal. Okay, so this diagonal needs to have no repeated digits on it. The grey lines are palindromes and must contain the same sequence of digits in both directions along the line. Right, we haven't got very well. This palindrome is particularly paltry, but this palindrome is slightly longer. So if we worked out this square was a 1, then this square would also be a 1, because we've got to make sure, basically, if we read the line from this direction now, it reads 1, 2, 3, 2, 1. And if we read it from this direction, it reads 1, 2, 3, 2, 1, i.e. it reads the same. So it is palindromic, and that is a good thing, because it would obey the rules of the puzzle. Now here's the complicated bit. The purple lines are double Renban lines. Each such line contains 2 equal-sized sets of consecutive digits. The sets might overlap partially or completely, and the digits can be in any order along the line. And then there are some examples, and these are weird. So for example, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Have we got a 6-cell line? Is that a 6-cell line? Yeah, okay, so let's put, so 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, well that's clearly, I can see that's got 2 consecutive sequences each of 1, 2, 3 on it, so that's uncontroversial. Now this one's more complicated. 1, 7, 2, 8, 3, 9. Okay, I can understand that one as well. So this one has got a 1, 2, 3 sequence and a 7, 8, 9 sequence, and they've all been jumbled up together. And then, oh, there's another one. 1, 4, 2, 3, 3, 3. Oh, I see. Okay, so this one's more complicated. In this one, there is a 1, 2, 3 sequence and a 2, 3, 4 sequence, and they've all been jumbled up together. I mean, this is really, really complicated already. So basically, those examples are each valid ways to fill a 6-cell double Renban line, and that is all the rules. So do have a go at the puzzle. The way to play is to click the link under the video as usual, but now I get to play. Let's get cracking. Now, what on earth do we do to start this? We have got one enormous line, look. Now, how long is this line? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So it's a length 16 line. Now, I think that means that there are 2 sequences on this line, each of length 8. But they don't have to be in order. These can all be jumbled up. So all we really know is that this line contains a lot of the digits 2 through 8, doesn't it? Because if you can imagine a sequence of 8 digits from the digits 1 to 9, so we're only missing out one of the digits. So we're missing out one of the digits on one side of the line. Right, so imagine the first sequence is 1 to 8. Then the second sequence could be 1 to 8, again. It could be 2 to 9. Well, it could only be one of those 2 things, actually. But the first sequence could have been 2 to 9. Right, so this sequence always has 2 of the digits 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8 on it. And then it either has 2 1s, 2 9s, or 1 1 and 1 9 in some order as well. There we go. So we understand the nature of this line, which actually is already quite interesting to me, because it shows that you can sort of understand what might be going on. I'm actually wondering if this is some set theory magic. Let's just have a think about this line as well. So this line is an 8-cell line. So this line contains 2 sequences of length 4. I mean, there are so many ways of doing that, though. There are so many ways of doing that. Yeah, I mean, it could be... Well, it could be that there are a lot of ways of that line potentially being constituted. If it, imagine, let's just take one example. If it has 1, 2, 3, 4 on it, I mean, the second sequence is not actually impinged upon at all. I suppose it can't be the same sequence twice. Right, okay, right. So if this was 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we tried to make... Yeah, we couldn't have exactly the same sequence as the other sequence, because if that was the case, you'd have 5 digits in this column that were all the same, that were selected from 4 different numbers. So you would have a repeated digit. So all we can say about this line, I mean, we can hardly say anything about it at all. It's got one sequence and then it's got another sequence on it, and those sequences are not exactly the same. That's not helpful. That's just to state the bleeding obvious, to quote Basil Fawlty. I don't know if I'm allowed to quote Basil Fawlty nowadays, but I did like Fawlty Towers. I've got Fawlty Towers in my brain now. I must get Fawlty Towers out of my brain. That's not going to help me to solve Darth Paradox's puzzle. I really don't understand how to use this, actually. I'm thinking now. I thought maybe because I could understand what this line, how this line worked, I could do something. Maybe with set theory, you know, in that pattern, because I know the constituents of this lattice, don't I? Because this each row is the digits 1 to 9 once each. Hello, Maverick, flying past. And this column will be the digits 1 to 9 once each. So the green squares are 4 sets of the digits 1 to 9 if we double count these cells here. So if I did know exactly what the constituents of this inner perimeter was, well, I'm not even sure if I knew exactly what it was. I think I could learn some stuff about these cells, perhaps. But it's complicated, and it would rely on me knowing exactly what the digits were in the perimeter, in this sort of internal perimeter, and I have got no idea how I know what's on this line. Right, so I'm going to change tacker here. I'm going to go to the outside of the grid then, where, yeah, okay, maybe this is a better place to start, because at least I do know, if we highlight the perimeter, we do know exactly what the constituents of any perimeter of a Sudoku, you know, the real outside edge of a Sudoku. This has got to be the digits 1 to 9, as has this, as has this, as has this. So we've got these digits, which are obviously appearing sort of, you know, that's in this column and this row. So I've got 32 digits in the perimeter, but 36 digits in 4 sets of the digits 1 to 9, and that's because these digits appear twice effectively in the set. So we've got to relate somehow these double Renban lines to those 36 digits, I think. I mean, it must be that. There's nothing else you can do in this. Oh. No, I was about to wonder whether it was some Vistamaphelian idea using the corner boxes, but I can't see how that works. Right, so what do we know about these lines then? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They're all of length 8, aren't they? Because I've just worked out there are 32 digits in the perimeter, and there are 4 of these lines, and they all look like they're about the same size. So right, so each one of these lines, the problem is this is the same as this line, isn't it? I.e. you can't really work out what's going on with it because you've only got, because there's too much flexibility. I mean, literally, I haven't got a clue what goes on these lines. I know each Renrenbanban line, is that the actual, no, they're called Double Renban lines. Okay, I should abstain from calling them Renrenbanban lines. So each Double Renban line contains 2 4-cell sequences which could be jumbled up. Okay, but I can't include, well, okay, I must include, well, no, I mustn't actually. I was about to say, well, the maximum number of 1s I can include on the whole perimeter is 4, isn't it? So I could have a 1, or let's ignore the palindrome. I could have 1, I could have 1s in these positions. Now, those 1s would force 1, 2, 3, 4s onto their Renban lines. Hang on. They would force 1, 2, 3, 4s onto their Renban lines. They've got to be 4 9s as well. No, but the problem is, it depends what goes in the corners, doesn't it? Because if I put 1 in the corner, let's just put 1 in the corner for a moment. Then I don't have to put, yeah, then I can only, this 1 deals with the whole of this column and the whole of this row. So now I don't have to have 4 1s around the perimeter. I only have to have 3 1s around the perimeter, or even, I can't have 2 1s on the perimeter actually, because that one and that one can't both be 1s because of the diagonal rule. So whatever goes here, well, anyway, the point is that if I did have 4 1s in the perimeter, at least I would know 4 of the constituent sequences of these 4 perimeter lines. And the same exact logic would be true for 9s, wouldn't it? So in theory, I've got a maximum of 4 9s on the perimeter, and if none of those 9s go in the corner, then I would know. So if there are no 1s and no 9s in the corners, I know this is a big if, but if there were no, that doesn't, that doesn't work. This is weird. I haven't got my head around this yet, but I can see that doesn't work for a weird reason. Right, so if this puzzle has no 1s and no 9s in the corners, then we know, let's just dispose the 1s and the 9s around the grid. Something like this. I don't know if I can put 2 9. I think I haven't thought about geometry here, so don't hold me to account if I, let's say something like that. Let's say I dispose the 1s and the 9s, something like that. I'm trying not to make them disobey the rules of Sudoku. But the point then is that there are 4 1s which must correspond to a sequence of 1, 2, 3, 4 times. And there are 4 9s which must correspond to a sequence 9, 8, 7, 6 4 times. And that is our 32 digits. there are no more digits to be placed. But now, where do I put 5s? I've got to put some 5s in the perimeter, because there is going to be a 5 in this column somewhere, and this column, and this row, and this row. There've got to be at least 2 5s, haven't there? I suppose the minimum number of 5s would be 2 5s there, because these don't see each other. But there couldn't be any 5s. So what we're now establishing is that there are at least some 1s and 9s in the corners of this puzzle. Now, right, okay, so 5 is also an interesting digit, actually, because that exact same logic I've just done applies if, yeah, let me go back. Now, watch this, I'm going to change this digit to 5. Now surely that's broken the puzzle as well, hasn't it? Because now, this is less clear, but I think it's true. I don't think I can put 9 in the perimeter anywhere now, because a 5 in the perimeter, it can't overlap with the sequence that the 1 gives birth to. So the 1 gives birth to a 1, 2, 3, 4 sequence. The 5, the highest it could get to would be 8. If it went 5, 6, 7, 8. The 5 could go 5, 4, 3, 2. But assuming we were trying to get all the digits into the perimeter, which we need to do, the 5 could go 5, 6, 7, 8, but there's still nowhere to put 9 anywhere. You can't put 9. And the 5s must correspond to different sequences to the 1s, because the 1s can't have a 5 on their 4-cell sequence. So, in fact, and that obviously that logic applies if we change the 1s to 9s. So in fact, I think this is something to do with 1s, 5s and 9s, and how let me think about this. So we can only include I can't quite get my head around this. I think I'm onto something. I've just got to think about this. So I cannot include more than 4. Oh, how do you do this? This is it's just out of my brain's reach at the moment. I've got to put, every time I put a 1 in the perimeter, that is basically a restricted covenant in the sense I cannot then include 5s or 9s on the sequence associated with the 1. Every time I put a 5 on the perimeter, that never gets close to a 1 or a 9, and whenever I put a 9, that never gets close to a 1 or a 5. Yet I've still got to include a maximum of 12. Yeah, so I've got to put things in the corners. Yeah, okay, so there are 4 lines, and these lines can cater for a maximum of, I want to say 8. There can only be 8 of the digits 1, 5 and 9 on the lines. That's right. Yes, that's the simplest way of seeing it, isn't it? There are 4 lines. Every time I put a 1 on the line, I can put 4 1s on the line, but then I could only put a maximum of 4 5s or 4 9s or some blend of those, because the 1 sequences can never overlap. Right, so there are a maximum, in this perimeter, there are a maximum of 8 1, 5s and 9s, because each line can cater for a maximum of 2 1 5 and 9s. I think this is trying to tell me I've got to put 1s 5s and 9s in the corners. Yeah, because if there were no 1s 5s and 9s in the corners, there would be 12 1s 5s and 9s in the puzzle, wouldn't there, in the perimeter? Because each side, if there's no 1s in the corners, each side needs a 1. So there'd be 4. Same is true for 5s, same is true of 9s. We know that there are not 12 1s, 5s and 9s. There are only 8. So I need to put stuff in the corner. Now when I put a 1 in the corner, how many degrees of freedom do I lose? When I put a 1 in the corner, I now could have 2 1s here, and I could have 9s and 5s. I could put the 9s in the middle and the 5s in the middle of each row. So by putting a digit into a corner, I reduce the maximum count, which is 12, by only 1. Yeah, and that makes sense because I'm just I'm effectively using a single digit to do the duty for a row and a column. So, and if that 1 wasn't in the corner, I would need 2 of those digits to cater for that row and that column. So every time I put a digit in the corner, I reduce the maximum count by 1, so I must put 1 digit in every corner to get from 12 to 8. Right, there we go. Perhaps there is a simpler way of seeing that, but I have, I think, understood a principle about this puzzle, which is that the corner cells have to contain 1 5s and 9s. Now what do we know? So now right, now I'm going to colour these actually. That must be what we do now. Because this one, whatever this happens to be, 1 5 or 9, it sees both of those two, and these two can't be the same because they see each other on the diagonal. So these 3 digits are all different. And the same is true of that one. So these 2 digits are the same. I think that's right. Let me just... So that must be right, mustn't it? Because this has the same geometric property as this one. And this one can't be the same as either of these, and these must be different. Yes. So these are the same. These have to be different. So let's change that one. Okay. So now, whatever this one is, it only appears twice on the whole perimeter. So, how do we go? Where do we go from here? I have not got a clue. I know that the outer rim contains a maximum of 8 1s, 5s and 9s. I've found the position of 4 of them, so there are 4 to find. And and because we know that each line can't have more than 2 1s, 5s and 9s, because imagine this was a 1. I can't put another 5 and another 9 on this line, because the 1, 5 and 9 sets never overlap with each other. You can't include 1 and 5 in the same 4-cell sequence. So So there is... I'm just wondering if there's some way I can allocate, you know, for example, there has to be a green digit in this column. Do I know which line it's on, or can it be on either line? There's got to be a green digit in this row. So if there was a green digit on this leg, there couldn't be a green digit here. There would be a green digit here. So if there's green there, there would be green there. And then there couldn't be green here. Oh, and that would be the three instances of green. Yeah, okay, because there's only going to be, well, there's 2 of these, and there's 3 of these 2, is what we now know. So we've got to find 2 more for each of the yellow and green, and no more for red, because red's already made all its appearances. I'm struggling now. I'm not sure I understand quite what I'm meant to do with this. This line, which was the other line that we studied and knew something about, that's definitely got 2 5s on it. Because we know this has got 2 of every digit apart from 1 and 9 on it. Wow, I don't know what that means. Okay, that digit is not green. Because if this, right, yeah, okay, this digit is not allowed to be a 1, 5 or a 9. Because if that digit was a 1, 5 or a 9, it would reflect on the palindrome and put 3 1, 5s and 9s on this 8-cell sequence, which we know can only have 2 1, 5s and 9s on it. So that digit is, to go full mark on this, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7 or 8. And it goes there, and that's 2, 3, 4, 6, 7 or 8. So if this is... golly, I mean, if you did know what this digit is, it would... well, imagine this was 8. Then... well, then you know this isn't 1. If this is 8, you know that the 2 sequences that apply to this line both involve 8. But you know, whatever you put in the corner, let's imagine you put 9 in the corner, you can't repeat 9 on the line. So the other of 1, 5 and 9 that must appear on this line would have to be 5, and this line would have a 9876 sequence and an 8765 sequence on it. Right. But that, okay, all right, I've got something here. So if that applies whatever I put on in these squares, what I mean by that is, let's make this 4. Well, now I can never put a 9 on this line, because there are 2 4s on the line and they need to be eaten up by 2 4-cell sequences that can each include the 4. So this One of those is whatever this is. So let's make this a 1. 1, 2, 3, 4. That will cater for one of the sequences. The other sequence can't include a 1 because whatever goes in the corner can't repeat on the line. So it would have to have a 5 on it. So there is what I think all I'm saying is that there's always a 5 on this line, and it's either in the corner or it's forced to be in one of these 7 cells. And that means, doesn't that mean red can't be 5? Because wherever the 5 is, it's either in the corner, in which case red can't be 5, or it's, say, here, which forces red not to be 5, which then catapults down here, because obviously these are the same digit. Or the 5 is there, which forces this not to be 5, and that changes that one. So red is not 5, so red is extreme, and it's 1 or 9. There is definitely a 5 in either yellow or green. And this line is interesting simply because of the palindrome, which forces it to have a 5 on it. I don't know quite what I meant to do with this though. And is it just the given 4, I think? I was suddenly thinking, okay, let's say these were 1s. That's going to obviously cause a lot of ripples through the grid. But then if these were 9s, all those ripples would be the same until this 4, I think, is the only thing that determines quantum in the puzzle. So somehow or other, this 4 is going to disambiguate everything, possibly on this line or this line. Or on the diagonal somehow. Oh, that cell or that cell. I don't know. I'm not sure. But I think we're going to have the devil's own job to try and... You see, what I wonder is whether what I'm meant to do is guess a number for this cell and then propagate it. And eventually what's going to happen is it's either going to work or it's going to contradict with this 4, in which case, you know, problem is that's going to then switch. Or maybe you do it with this number. You make this 1 or 9 and then see how it flows through the grid until you reach a contradiction here. Some people view that as bifurcation, whereas I think I would view it more as placeholding in a puzzle like this. It's sort of storing up the logical consequences. I don't know. I mean, I'm not, to be honest though, at the moment I'm not going to go down that route, because I don't think I've done enough thinking to understand that that's really required. Okay. So, do we now... We know there's no... We do know... Alright, we do know that there is a green somewhere in those positions, don't we? And our job, because there can't be red, and there can't be yellow, and there must be a second of 1, 5 or 9. I really don't know how I tell if this is green, one of those is green. If these are green, one of those are green. It just doesn't work. Alright, let's think about red again. If red is 1, what are we saying? We're saying that there are two sequences in the puzzle that are 1, 2, 3. Well, in fact, there are only two sequences in the perimeter of the puzzle that are 1, 2, 3, and 4. So what do you do with the other? What do you do with the 2s that aren't on this sequence? Yeah, that's interesting. Okay, so if this is double 1, let's just fill this in. Let's just say that's 2, 3, 4, and that's 2, 3, 4. But we've now put 2 2s in the perimeter, but we do know for sure there are 4 2s in the perimeter, because you can't put a 2 in a corner. So the other 2 2s, I don't really know where to put them. Let's put one here. This 2, what sequence is it in? Well, it's not allowed to be in a sequence with a 1, because we can't put another 1 in the perimeter. So it must be in a 2, 3, 4, 5 sequence. So there must be 2, 2, 3, 4, 5 sequences in the perimeter. Hang on. So in this situation, which admittedly is based on 1 as the red digit, 4 of the 8 sequences in the perimeter are now totally determined. They are 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2, 3, 4, 5. But we do know that whichever one of these is 9, there are 3 instances of the green digit in the perimeter, aren't there? Because let's say this was 9. There's 1 here, so that means there are no 9s in any of those positions. This can't be a 9, so there's a 9 here and there's a 9 here. So there are 3 9s, and the same is true of yellow. Obviously, if yellow turned out to be 9, it would be the same. So the other sequences are not, the 3 9s must equate to a 9, 8, 7, 6 sequence 3 times. So we've got the low sequences 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2, 3, 4, 5, 9, 8, 7, 6, 9, 8, 7, 6, 9, 8, 7, 6. Gosh, I must sound like an absolute gibbering chimp to some people at the moment. Now, what about the last? What about the last 8 in the puzzle in that environment? The last 8, and there must be 4 8s in this puzzle. There have only been 3 8s in sequences, so the last 8 goes 8, 7, 6, 5. So this is really interesting, because now, albeit this was based upon making red a 1, let's just get rid of that. Because I think we can state with certainty exactly what we've got a binary option for what the sequences around this perimeter look like. They are either 2 lots of 1, 2, 3, 4, 2 lots of 2, 3, 4, 5, 3 lots of 9, 8, 7, 6, and 1 lot of 8, 7, 6, 5. Or they are 2 lots of 9, 8, 7, 6, 2 lots of 8, 7, 6, 5, 3 lots of 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1 lot of 2, 3, 4, 5. It's one of those. Oh, one of those 2 options. Now, what does that mean? How does that help us? That feels like it's absolutely... I mean, it's incredible. It's incredible that you can work out roughly even what goes in the perimeter of this puzzle. So, I've had 45 minutes. This is the problem with these videos, is that I already feel this is sort of, I've been on a wonderful journey to get to the point where I know as much as I do about the puzzle. But it's quite possible that this journey will just be lost forever because I won't be able to do it. And isn't that a bit sad? Because this is really interesting. We might have to have a different channel, partial solves of Cracking the Cryptic, and then other people can complete them for us. Right. So there must be 3 sequences that involve 5, because we know that whichever one of these happens to be 5, there are 3 of it in the perimeter. So just think about this one again. If that's a 1 in the corner, then we know there's a 1, 2, 3, 4 sequence here. But we know that from this digit is going to be a 2, 3 or a 4. And it's going to pair up with a 5. So there's going to be on this line whatever this is, there are, I want to say there are only 5 different digits on this line, which would be huge, because that would allow me to pencil mark green into one of those 4 squares, I think. Is that true? If this, let's just make that 3. I'm sorry, I'm going to have to do it this way. If this is 3, we can never put 9 in either of the sequences involving 3. So we know that the 2 sequences on this line are involve a 1 and involve a 5. But we also know that the one, so there's a 1, 2, 3, 4 sequence. We know the sequence that involves 3, that it doesn't involve 1, is a 2, 3, 4, 5 sequence, because we know that in this puzzle there are no 3, 4, 5, 6 sequences, because of the binary option that we worked out earlier. So, yes, so in this situation, there would be a 1, 2, so this line would contain a 1, 2, 3, 4 sequence and a 2, 3, 4, 5 sequence, and there are 5 different digits on this line. Now, that must be the same, even if I flick this round the other way. Then we're saying this line's got 5 and 9 on it as its sort of strange middly extreme digits, as its combination. The 9876 sequence, and there's got to be an 8765 sequence, because there can't be a second 9876 sequence, and we can't have sequences like 7654 because we worked out that wasn't a possibility. So this line has 5 different digits on it, and those 5 different digits therefore are the only digits that appear on this line, and we know that there is a green digit on this line somewhere, so that green digit is in one of those cells. Let's do that. Now, we also know that these 3 digits are middly digits. I want to say these digits here these are middly digits. Oh no, got it right. Okay, there are 5 digits on this line. This column has 5 digits as well as this box having 5 digits that have to be different. That column has 5 digits that have to be different. So one of these has to be green. So that's one of these 2, which means these 2 are not green. So now these 3 digits are not green. We can't have 2 greens on this line. So these digits are either 2, 3, 4 or 6, 7, 8. Now, is it the sensible thing that we colour these digits? I now know that green's in one of those cells, don't I? Where does green go in the top row? Green doesn't go here. There must be a green, so green is in one of those cells. Wow, okay. I'm going to make those grey, and I'm also going to label these grey. And grey is either 2, 3, 4 or 6, 7, 8, depending on how this line works. It depends on how high this digit is. I don't see how that's being interfered with by the 4, but so what? Okay, one of these digits is grey and one of these digits is green. So now in this column, yellow, well, I think yellow we now know is down there, don't we? That feels right, because in this column I've identified approximately the position of the 3 strange digits, and I'm not allowed any more strange digits. So these 3 digits are either 2, 3, 4 or 6, 7, 8, and they're going to go with this digit. Or are they? Well, I know these 3 digits are not the grey digits, and they're not the special digits, so I'm going to label them a different colour as well. We'll make these orange. So do I now know that these are orange? These must be orange. They're not, well, 3 of these are orange. 3 of these are orange, because this row needs 3 oranges in it. Now yellow, because it can't be here, well, the bottom row needs a yellow, and this line needs a second special digit, doesn't it? So the only special digit it could have in those 4 cells is a yellow, so there must be a yellow in one of those. And this is where it gets horrible. Do we know whether... this is really complicated, sorry. Do we know I'm not sure I know what colour accompanies this yellow on this line. Let me think about this. So I've got 3 of some digit up here. Let's just hypothesize this for a moment. If this is 1, we know grey is then 2, 3, 4, don't we? So there's 2, 3, 4 here. If this is 1, this is 2, 3, 4 and 5. So this is 6, 7, 8. If this is 6, 7, 8, this is 9. So this sequence is 6, 7, 8, 9. And then yellow is here. We said yellow was 1, didn't we? So this would be 1, 2, 3, 4, and it would have grey with it. But what would happen if this was 5 and green was 1? I don't think the logic changes for grey. Grey is still 2, 3, 4. This is still 6, 7, 8. This is still 9. But now yellow is 5. And the sequences that involved 5 could be 2, 3, 4, 5, which would make this grey again, or 5, 6, 7, 8, which would make this orange again. So can these three be orange? No. No, they can't, but that's really complicated. Right. This is not an orange sequence with the yellow. And that's because that puts too many oranges in this box. I've got 2 oranges there. The palindrome makes that orange. So that's all 3 oranges. So if I do say that this is an orange sequence along with the yellow, one of these is orange, and that breaks the line. So I think that means this has to be grey. But it doesn't tell us whether yellow... Well, it doesn't tell us anything about yellow. It doesn't tell us anything about yellow. But does it tell us that those are now orange? Yes, it does, by the power of Grayskull. So now this column needs a yellow, which must be here. Well, in one of those. And I haven't got a clue. Can I now... Do I now know whether he's... How many instances of orange appear? There must be 4 instances of orange. I've only found 3 of them. And there are 4 instances of grey, and I've only found 3 of them. So I still don't know how this gets arbitrated down here. How am I meant to do this? This is absolutely absurd, isn't it? There's something weird going on as well, because green and yellow here, and green and yellow here. I suppose it's because one of these is a 5, isn't it? So if this was 5, 6, 7, 8, if this was 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, then one of these is 2, 3, 4, 5, but I don't know which of these is the 5, I don't think. Golly gosh, okay. How do we do this then? I know these digits are either orange, which would match up with these, or they're grey, and then these would be orange. Oh, hang on, I can't put... No. Ah, I've got it. Right, I now understand. I can't make this orange on this line, because if these are orange, I've got the same green and yellow here that are supposed to be consecutive with grey. They couldn't also be consecutive with orange, could they? So sorry, let's pick an example and just prove this to ourselves. Imagine that green and yellow were 1 and 5 in some order. We don't know what the order is, but let's say they're 1 and 5. We therefore know grey is 2, 3, 4. But we know that down here we've got 1 and 5 again, we don't know the order, but that means we need to have some grey on this line. And if we made that orange, we would have no grey. Because one of these digits is an extreme digit and can only go with grey. That's it. Right, so this is grey, this is orange. So now this line's become interesting because oh, now I'm getting confused. Now it feels like I'm saying that green, yeah, green is 5. Ah, this is beautiful. Green is 5 because green is in a sequence that involves the green here has to be consecutive with orange, and green here has to be consecutive with grey. So if green was an extreme digit, like a 1 or a 9, it couldn't be consecutive with both grey and orange, given that grey and orange are the digits 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8. So green is 5, and we actually have a digit. We've got a digit in the puzzle. Let's just do some shading. We've got a digit in the puzzle. This is not 5. So this is also extreme. Yeah, that makes sense, doesn't it? If red is 1, then we've got a 1, 2, 3, 4 sequence and a 2, 3, 4, 5 sequence on this line. Yeah, and this sequence is this one's interesting because this one has no 5 on it. So this is a 1, 2, 3, 4 sequence and a 9, 8, 7, 6 sequence. Wow, mind blown. Absolutely mind blowing. I am not surprised for a moment that only one person has solved this. This is not at all straightforward. It's taken me an hour to get a digit. But at least I've got a digit. That feels like quite a breakthrough. Make a good video, this. If we stop now. Right. I actually feel quite tired having got that digit. So what do I do with this newfound knowledge then? I haven't got a clue. Almost wondering whether it's this line now, because this line, I don't know. I know this line has got 2 green digits on it somewhere. Don't know where though. Come on, Simon. What is it I'm meant to be appreciating now? I think what I could do actually is the same analysis. Yeah. Okay. If we look at this line is very similar to this, isn't it? There are only oranges on this line, and that means that those 5 digits are the same as these 5 digits, and it means that the green with the 5, in other words, has to be one of those 5 digits, because there are only 5 different digits on this line, because there's 6, 7, 8, or 2, 3, 4. and 1, and there's always 5, and there's always whatever there needs to be from the other, 1 or 9. So we can't have, so one of these is green, we know it's in there, therefore that's not green. These are not 5. So green is here. Now, okay. How do we use that to our advantage? You see, it might be possible to use placeholder digits. Now, imagine if I made this a 1. You know, that would propagate then, because then we would know red was 9, orange was 6, 7, 8, grey would be 2, 3, 4. I'm not actually seeing how I could take that forward very much. I think we're still missing a little bit of cleverness here. One of those digits needs to be red. Look, I've not put red into this box yet. Now if I put red here, it's on the palindrome, and that would put red there. Is that possible? Then I would have 2 reds on this line. And this line, what was the profile of this line? It's got 2 of every digit apart from 1s and 9s, where it's got 2 1s and 2. It's got 2 from the digits 1 and 9 on it, but we don't know what those digits are. So if this was red, then we would know there would be no yellow anywhere on this line if this was red. Oh, hang on, this can't be red actually. I've thought of a reason this can't be red. Where does red go in this row? And it must be somewhere on this line. So there's 1 red down here. Oh, no, this is beautiful. Right, I'm changing tack altogether. Where are red? Yeah, where is red in this row? The answer is I don't have a clue, but I do know it's not there. So it's in one of these cells. So there is a red in one of those cells. Now, where is red in this column? This column here. Well, it's not in those 2 cells, so it's somewhere. So there is a red in one, there's a red in each of these stripes. I'm not going to put it in because it's so ludicrous. But they are 2 extreme digits on this line. And there are only 2 extreme digits on this line because this line is 2 sequences, 2 8-cell sequences. So we can't put more than 2 extreme digits within those sequences because each sequence can only have 1 extreme digit. Now, therefore, there are no yellow digits at all on this line. So now, this is beautiful. So where does yellow go in this column? It can't go on the line. It doesn't seem to be able to be there, therefore it's here. So these are not yellow. Now, can we do that trick here? We can do it exactly the same in row 8. There's no yellow on the line, so yellow is there. This is absolutely mesmerizing. Now, so this line has not got any yellow on it. I'm desperate to say that this line is now made up of two yellow sequences. It's definitely got at least 1 yellow sequence on it, because in this column Where does yellow go? It's not here. So yellow is on this line. And in this row, well, the only way that there are not two yellows on this line is if that is a yellow. I'm sure that's impossible for some reason. Let me think about this. This line is 2 red digits only. Red in this box, we've worked out it can't be on the palindrome because there needs to be a red down here. If it's a red on the palindrome, there's 3 reds on this line, which just doesn't work. So red is in one of those cells. It can be in the middle of the palindrome, I think. Red is in one of these cells. That's in this box, isn't it? Sorry, I'm not quite spotting how to do it. Right. Yellow by Sudoku is in one of those cells. Let's memorialize that, and one of these cells. Red is in one of these cells. Hang on. Now I think I've got a problem with red in this inner thing here. Hang on, let me just highlight this inner thing. So this blue internal perimeter, I've got a problem. I know that there are exactly 2 reds on this line, and I know that one of them is there and one of them is there. So let's just highlight that for a moment. Those are the possible positions of reds within the blue perimeter, the blue internal perimeter. But if you take a stare at row 2, row 8, column 2, column 8, they've got to be, well, there could be as many as 4 reds in the blue perimeter. And there's simply no way of doing that, given that this whole of the perimeter can only have 2 reds on it, and this line had a yellow on it, and possibly 2 yellows on it. So this line cannot have more than 1 red on it, because yellow and red are the extreme digits. So so hang on. Got it. Right. This is absolutely beautiful. Right. So if this line had 2 yellows on it, let's say yellow was 1, then this line would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. It would have no red on it at all. But the only way that works, given I've got to put, I've got to reduce, or I've got to deal with a red in this row, this column, and this column. The only way I could cover all of that space by putting a red into each would be to put reds in both of those cells. But the diagonal rules that out. I wonder if that's why this is here, to actually deal with this specific question. The fact that I cannot put reds into these 2 cells, I could put red into one of them. I may indeed have to put red into one of them. We'll come back to that. That's where I feel this is going. But let's say I didn't put red into either of those, just for a moment. Let's say the reds were here and here. Well then, where is the red in row 2 going? It's in one of these cells. In fact, it's not. It's in one of those 2 cells. Where is the red in this column going? It's got to be in one of these 3 cells. But now there are 2 reds on this line that we know contains at least 1 yellow. It's total nonsense. So there is definitely a red in one of these 2 squares. There must be. Otherwise the world breaks. So there is definitely a red in one of these. I have no idea how to pencil mark that. I tell you what I will. Maybe there's exactly 1 red in one of those 2 squares. So let's just say it's here. Then the red on the vertical strip on the left hand side would be in one of these 4 cells. So that's 2 reds we've dealt with. We've not yet managed to put a red into this row. So there would have to be a red in one of those 2 squares as our 3rd red for rows 2, 8, columns 2, 8. And that obviously puts a red onto this line. There is always a red on this line. It's not possible that there isn't, because you can't put 2 reds in here. So if there is a red on this line, and there is a yellow on this line, and there is, we know the constituents of this red line. Not this red line, this purple line. It's a red, which must be a 1, 2, 3, 4, and or a 9, 8, 7, 6, and a yellow, which is the opposite, and there is no 5 on this line. That's probably not surprising. Well, it's rather pretty for this column. Where does the 5 go? If you can't put it on this line, and by Sudoku it's not there, it's got to be there. That is a 5, which is rather cool. Let's get rid of this. There's no 5 on this line. There's no 5 there. Ah, you rotten thing. Bobbin's face. So if that's a 5, that's a 5. If that's a 5, we don't have to worry. What about... Oh, I don't know, actually. 5 in one of those cells. Okay, but I think the other conclusion we're drawing is that this is yellow, aren't we? Because I worked out that there's got to be a yellow in this row somewhere. And we know there's no yellow on this line. This is absolutely fascinating. So the yellow in this row is in this stripe. And the yellow in this column, look, is in this stripe. But we can't put 2 yellows on this line because we know this line somewhere has a red on it. Therefore, the only juxtaposition of this that works is there. So this is, therefore, a yellow. This, let's put all my 1s and 9s in, make me feel like I'm making progress. Yellow is in one of these cells. Yellow is in, oh, so yellow is on all of the sort of Fistomophel ring interior. In fact, yes, that makes sense, because yellow, there is a yellow in all of the 2x2 boxes in the corner. I wonder whether there is a clever geometry way of doing this puzzle. That's very, very possible. Well, I'm doing it my way, and I am at least making some sort of progress. Now, what can we next say about the world? Right, okay, I think I'm going to get rid of my highlighting for this region for a moment, because I just had a thought about this box. Those 3 squares are grey, because look, I've got 3 orange and I've got 3 special digits, so those are grey. Now, can I do that anywhere else? That would be a rather lovely trick. No seems to be the answer. Well, oh, one of these was red. Let's not get away from that. We did work that out. One of these is red, but I don't think we know which one. Whichever one it is, if that's red, there's a red in one of those. if this is red, there's a red in one of these, because we know there's definitely a red on this little line. And if that's red, there's a red in one of these. And if this is red, there's a red in one of those. Because we've got to have two reds on this line. Let's not lose track of that. Right. Wow, okay. Where did we think that we know there's a red in one of these cells. Okay, look, these cells are orange and red. I don't know how to pinpoint that. Because the red, we know the red can't go on the palindrome, don't we? Because that would put too many reds on this line. Right, so that's orange. So that's orange by palindrome logic. But I don't like this red pencil mark across this diagonal. It's going to confuse me. I know one of these three squares is red, I think, in this box. So actually, so maybe what I should do is I will put a purple flash into these two squares to try and remind me that one of these needs to be red on the negative diagonal. So these are orange. These are pure orange. One of these squares is right. Well, these squares are green and grey, because we've got our three oranges and we've got the two extremes. So one of those is a 5, and we know this line has exactly two 5s on it, so we found one of them now. If we put the 5 here, no, there still needs to be a second 5 on this line. It doesn't matter that okay, yeah, there's a difference, isn't there, between thinking about 5s in sort of this cell, row 8, column 2, from the perspective of the fact there must be two 5s, or there must be 5s in column 2 and row 8, and this would cater for both of those, and the logic on the line, which is separate. So if you did put a green here, you still need to put a second green, which would have to be here. No, it would have to be there, actually. So if that's green, and that's green. But if this isn't green, let's say that's green, then there's a green in there. There's the second green on the line, so that's all the greens were allowed on this line. I know there's no green here. These can't be green now. This can't be green. There's no greens on this line, so there would still be a green. So is there always a green there? Or have I just got that wrong? No, the other case I had a green here, didn't I? No, there isn't always a green there at all. No, this is nonsense. Right, okay, that doesn't work. That doesn't work, I'm afraid. Okay. What does this... Oh, this doesn't mean this is red. It depends, doesn't it? There's green in those squares. Ah, right. Here is a beautiful, beautiful thing. 1 hour 24 minutes into this puzzle. Look at this little line. This line has a yellow and a green on it. Now, yellow and green, well, we know green is 5, and yellow is either 1 or 9. So how are the Renbans made up here? And the reason I think this is huge is there can't be a red on this line, because red can never be consecutive with 5 or yellow. Yet this line is, let's think about this. So it's a yellow, which is a 1 or a 9, so that goes with a grey. So there's a grey on this line somewhere, and then there's a green, which is 5, and that can't then go with a grey because there's already 3 greys in this column. So that's going to go with an orange. But the whole point is that, yeah, there's no red in any of those cells. That doesn't seem to be able to be red, so that is red. And if that's red, that's most certainly not red. Red is 1 or 9, and red is up here. Red is in there somewhere. This is not red, but we know one of those was red to deal with the problem we had earlier from my purple flashing. So this is now, you've guessed it, red. These two are not red, and red is 1 or 9. So now one of those is red. Oh, this is so... Has this done it? Have we done it? Oh no. Red is in one of those cells. Oh dear, dear, dear. Oh dear, dear, dear. Okay. That's annoying, isn't it? So how do we go further than this? Maverick getting lower and lower. If this is green, we know that's green because we can't put green on this line. I'm slowly building up all of these sort of lemmas, and oh, come on, Simon. How hard can this be? One person's managed to solve it. Right. I don't know. It does feel like these corner cells are somehow powerful, doesn't it? If that's green, that deals with our 2 greens that we know are on this line, doesn't it? So if that's green, it doesn't matter if green goes on the palindrome because that's the centre of a palindrome. Then this couldn't be green, these couldn't be green. So if this is green, that's green. It's the only place green could go in row 2. But if these are green, green goes in there with yellow and red. So this would be a green, yellow, red. I don't know now. I can't see quite how to resolve that. I don't know what to do. I have got no idea what to do here. How could we resolve this? How is it all going to get disambiguated? Can we somehow do... No, I don't think we can. No, sorry. I'm sure that there are some of you out there who are spotting whatever it is I'm meant to see now. Maybe this is why people have found this difficult, is they get to this point and then get stuck. That's a depressing thought. Oh no. Oh, I was suddenly wondering, could I get a count on this? Because I know that this line consists of the red and yellow and 3 greys and 3 oranges exactly. Now these can't be 2 oranges because that would put too many oranges in this box. Hang on, that seems quite interesting. So still to place, we've got 2 greys on here. Is it possible neither of these is a grey? If neither of these is a grey, what are they? They must be, on the basis that red is on the line here, they must both be orange, and they can't both be orange. So there must be a grey here. And that completes the grey for the line. So this is, I don't know how to notate this, but this is a grey and an orange in this domino. And that completes the greys for the line. So this strip of digits is made up of red and only orange. And the 2 of these are orange and 1 of these is red. And that completes. So 1 of these is now grey by the power of Sudoku, which is the 3rd grey. So this square is now orange, to be the last orange for this column. Now, does that mean I know stuff or not? I think I don't, do I? I think I don't. I'm not sure. I've got yellow, which is this digit. Now yellow is sequential with grey. So yellow and grey on this line are a pair. They are a Renban pair. So the 5 has to partner up with orange, but that means orange is, this is it. Oh my goodness me, I think we've done it. I think we've done it, because this logic is correct. Then I just want to think about this again. I know yellow is extreme, so whether this is 1 or 9, it's on this line and it's part of a 2-cell Renban. So it partners up with 2 or 8, which is a grey digit. It can, yeah, the simplest way of putting it is that yellow simply cannot be consecutive with orange, yet there is an orange on this line. So yeah, so the orange digit must partner up with the 5, which is the green digit, which means that the orange digit is either a 4 or a 6, and that's why this 4 is there, to make this a 6, which means these are 7, 8, and this is 6, and now I've got some digits, and presumably I now know yeah, because 6 is an orange digit. Orange digits are, in general, they are 6, 7, 8, aren't they? And if orange digits are 6, 7, 8, this line, we can't make this a 1. So red is 9. Red is 9. Red is 9. Red is 9. Yellow is 1. Yellow is 1. Yellow is 1, nori nori. Now these squares are 2, 3, 4. So, right, look over here. These are 2, 3, 4. This is 2, 3, 4. This is 2, 3, 4. This is 2, 3, 4 or 5. These two are 1 of each. We don't know how that works. These are 6, 7 and 8. Which is on a palindrome there. So that's a 6, 7 or an 8. This is a 6 by Sudoku. So this is a 7, 8 pair. This is a 7, 8, apparently. It's the same as that one. Grey is 2, 3, 4. I think we've just got to go through now and tick everything off. Literally pencil mark everything to the nth degree. Okay. That 6 does see that square, so this is a 7 or an 8. These squares are 2, 3 and 4, aren't they? These squares are 2, 3, 4 and 5. So there's sort of a... Oh, there was always a quadruple there. Alright, now... Well, now I almost feel hopeful. Oh, that's probably foolish. Right, that digit... Oh no, this is the silly digit that could be 5 still, isn't it? We know it can't be orange because there's an orange in one of these. So we've got the oranges done for this row. So this is 2, 3, 4 or 5 and it has that sort of property from a colouring perspective. Again, we've done all the oranges in this row. So there could be a grey or a green in here. We've not thought at all about these other 2 lines, so they're going to be important at some point. These 2 squares are both grey, I've just realised by the power of elimination. So these are 2, 3 and 4. This one's not 4. Let's actually, I haven't thought about that, but let's use the given digit, which we now know is grey. Yeah, I'm going to use that. So, okay, so down this, so one of these is orange, one of these is grey in these 2 squares. That probably matters somehow. There's a 7, 8 pair along in 2 of these 3 digits. Yeah, that's interesting, but it's not nearly good enough, is it? There's a 4 in one of those squares, so that's not 4. Okay. Can I get a picture of this line and how this line's working from a sort of meta perspective now? This line, we know it had 2 9s on it now, and it has. So it has no 1 on it, which we know about. But it must have 2 5s, don't know about those yet. It must have 2 5s on it. Oh yeah, but that one can still be a 5. Oh, this is so complicated. It's got to have 2 of all of the orange digits on it, doesn't it? And at the moment, it's got 1 of each of the orange digits on it. But can we do anything with that knowledge? Oh, where does 6 go on this top line? It goes here. Perhaps that's a definite 6. So 6, look, is in one of these 2 squares. That's almost getting interesting. 6 is an orange digit. And if whichever one it's on, it's going to have to be part of a sequence. I seem to have a 7-8 pair in this column. Is that right? Oh, because the diagonal. Okay, all right, that's become a 6. That's on the palindrome, so that's become a 6. Aha. So I've got a 7-8 pair now. That becomes a 6. Oh, this is getting exciting again. That's not a 6. How many 6s have we got? 7, don't tell me. 1, 2, 3, yeah, 7. Okay, so we've got this sort of domino of 6-age left. Okay. But yeah, but let me go back to my other thought. My other thought was around... was about orange digits on this line. And I've got to put 6 on. 1, 2, 3. I know there are exactly 2 there, so that's 4, 5. So one of these is orange. And it's not this one. So it's that. No, so that one's the same as that one, so it's this one. I might have to use letters actually to just try and keep control of this. So let's make that A, that B, therefore, because that's a palindrome, and this is a pair. So actually that's B, isn't it? That's A. A is okay, A is on the diagonal as well. So B, this is gorgeous. Right, so where's B on this diagonal? It's not there apparently, so that's B. It's the only place it can go. So that becomes an orange 7 or 8, which gives me a pair here, makes that square the 9, which is red. So that does some tidying. Let's do that. So that means this is no longer red. And is this very exciting for us? It could be. That's become an A. Let's go back to letters again. So that's become a B. That's become an A. That's become a B. The simple things. This has become a B. This has become an A. Okay, so I've got all my oranges in row 4. I know, I do know A is in one of those 2 positions, but I don't know which one. I will pencil mark that like that and hope that that makes sense to me at some later date. Okay, but now on this diagonal, look, that's got to be a grey digit, and it's a 2 or a 3 explicitly, because it's got to be the sort of partner of this one. Okay. And has this done any good work for us? Hang on, I know what these digits are. Oh, this is it. Yes. Okay, let's think about this. I know one of these digits is yellow, and therefore there must be a digit consecutive with yellow on this string. So this is 1, 2, and 5. And why do I get excited about that? Well, that seems to give me a 2 here. And a 3 here. And a 4 here. And a 2 here. And a 3 and a 4. Come on. Come on. Right, this is now a 2. That's not a 2 anymore. That's not a 2 anymore. Oh, please don't stop there. Right, that's become a 2. Two by Sudoku now, look, is exactly equal to that, which is therefore grey. So these lose their greyification. Right, okay. Now surely we can do better than this. Have I literally... Oh, hang on, I didn't want to do that. I just want to double click 2s. There are 5 2s we've managed to get from this. Do I this line can't have another 2 on it, can it? Because it's already got 1, 2. So there are no 2s in those squares, so the 2 in this row goes exactly there, and therefore it's not the 5. Brilliant. Brilliant. So the 5 in this row goes there. Let's 5ify it, and then greenify it. That loses its 5ification. This, therefore, is not a 2. This is not a 2. Ah, it's close. Oh, hang on. No, it's... Oh, well, no, it is fine. It is fine, because there's a 2 here. And there's a 2 there, and there's 2 there, and 2 there. So the only place the 2 can go is here. Oh, hang on, no, that's wrong. That's not true. I apologise. I missed something there. Look, this can be a 2. I was looking at this and thinking, aha. But that was not justified at all. That's a terrifying thought. I mean, if I make a mistake now, and I haven't made a mistake to this point, and then I get it wrong, it will be worthy of proper weeping. Right. Come on. Come on, Simon. Okay. If I know this is 5. Okay, so can we now... I know this line has to have 2 5s on it. Like, really has to have 2 5s, because it's got to have 2 Renbans. So if I put a 5 there, it can only have 1 5 on it. So that's definitely not a 5. Ah, not a 5. So that's 2 or 4 now. So the 5 is in one of those 2 positions. I would really, really like to know which one. I really would like to know which one. If it's this one, I don't know actually. There's too much, yeah, there's quite a lot of ambiguity about the nature of 5s, I think. Right, these squares are now 1, 5, 9 triple, which is quite cool. Can I keep going with my orange somehow? Or maybe, yeah. Oh, here's a thought. Not a very good thought, but it's perhaps interesting. There's a 2 on this line, which is going to have to contain 2 sequences. And the one that includes a 2 will have to include a 3, won't it? So we can now say with certainty there is a 3 somewhere on this line. But unfortunately, we really don't have a clue where it lives. What we really need to do is to pinpoint whether there are any really high digits on this N-shaped thing. Like if that was high or low, that would be powerful. Yeah, I don't know how we do that. No, I really don't. What about 4 in this row? Can't go in those squares, look. So 4 is in one of these 2 positions. Now, do we know which of those positions? I really don't think so. I would love to know. This is a 3-4 pair. One of these is 3 or 4, one of these is 7, 8. So actually I'm going to just notate that. This is a 3, 4, 7, 8 option. This has got 3, 4, 7, 8 as its options. Okay. Maybe I'll come back to thinking about this line again. Sorry, I know I'm probably jumping around a lot, but I'm trying to keep track of the world. Now, what do we know about this line? We know it can only have 2 2s on it. It has 1 2 at the moment. In fact, it's got a 2, a 3 and a 4. So it's only got one more of each of those digits. And 2 of them are in here. Seven and 8 are definitely in these cells, and they're definitely orange. Oh, so B. Okay, if 7 and 8 are in these cells, and they seem to have to be by Sudoku, look. B, which is 7 or 8, must be there in the box. And that's taking the position of 2. Golly, is that true? So let's just imagine B was 7. Yeah, it is true. So this is B. And therefore, right, let's put B in. Why is B gone in the corner? I don't. Oh, it's because I know why. I know why. What I need to do is that, and then take out the 2, 7, 8, and that puts the B back in where it is up there. So this is B, which seems to imply this is 2, which means that this is not 2. So 2 is in one of those positions, which is where we thought it was before, but that hasn't tied it up. I need a second. Yes. All right. Let's come back to this line. Where does it get? Oh no, I don't know. I know it's in one of those two, but I still don't know which one it is, do I? Oh, you muppet, Simon. Okay. Right. So all of that work just got me a digit here and a 3-4 pair in this column. It's not enough, is it? So, okay. Do I know? I know one of these is A. I don't think I know which one. Obviously, if that's A, that's A. A would be in one of, A would be here, which would be on this line with a B. It's potentially cool. Oh, that's not a 4 by the power of simple old Sudoku. If we get rid of 3 from this cell, we would be very happy. Oh, hang on. No, I don't think we can. We have got a 3-4 pair here. So 3 is not in those cells. Or these. 3, 3. Ah. No, okay, I'm still stuck, aren't I? You can't repeat. Look, we've got 2 6s now on this line. So have I got all the 6s? 1, 2, 3. Oh no, we've got this little congregation here going on, haven't we? So we can't use that. What about... We've got 2 B's on the line, so we can't have any more B's on the line, but we can't put any more B's on the line. We need one more A, I think. Or do we need 2 more A's? Oh, we've got 1 A here. Ah, so is there definitely an A here? Well, yes, there is, just by Sudoku, isn't there? I didn't spot that before. But there must be an A here. That's the 3rd A in this box. So these cells are definitely not... Oh, we already knew they weren't orange. But where is the 5? This is, I think, the key question, isn't it? This is the thing that, if I knew which of these was the 5, the world might make more sense to me. How do we get traction on that? I have not got a clue. Or is it the fact I need to put 3 on this line? Or maybe I can do some logic on this tiny line, which I know has A on it. Can it have B on it? Not there, and not there. Ah! Alright, so this is either... So if A was 8... Because there's no B on the line, which would be 7, you'd need to put 9 on the line, which is red, and red could go on the line here. If A is 7, then there's no 8 on the line. You need to put 6 on the line. You can do it here. I don't believe it. That's so annoying. So one of these is the partner of this digit. Wow, okay. I don't know. I'm struggling, aren't I? How do we finish this off? We could argue that... I mean, literally, if we knew which of these was 5, how can I get more of a handle on 5? I don't know. Does it matter if you have to put 5 on one of these palindromic lines? Not palindromic, Renrenbanban lines. Renrenbanban lines. If you have to put 5 on it, looks very, very easy to accompany it with 4 or 6, doesn't it? Which you would have to do, actually. So if you did put 5 here, you need to put 4 or 6 on the line to be consecutive with it. I think there's a variety of places you could do that. Right, so it's going to be something else. I'd love to know what. Oh, look, B is there. Oh, that's going to do it. I'm so sorry, this is easy, but I'm getting a bit tired now. Look, B is apparently not that digit, because that seems to be labelled A. So this is B, and that's magic. B. Because B, we know, is, let's go back to numbers, 7 or 8. So this becomes 6, which means this becomes 6. Now, if that's 6, we know it's orange. We know. Therefore, well, I wonder. I mean, I think we know things like this is not 5 now. Because if that cell was 5, you'd need to put 4 or 6 on this line and it won't go anywhere. That can't be 4 and it can't be 6. Because there's a 4 up here. Well, there's 4, 6 looking at it. So that's not green. 6 is on this line. This little line here. But you could put 5 on the line, couldn't you? Quite easily. If there's a 5 here, that would work. Or you could put 7 on the line and it would... Oh, that's really distressing. That's really distressing. So we've placed all the B's in the grid. But we haven't achieved the same thing with A at all. A is in one of those squares. A is in one of these. A is in one of those. And A is in one of these. And well, actually, hang on. So if A is not on this line, how would that work, given it's got B on it? That would require B to be 7. And we'd need to put 6 on the line because we couldn't put 8 on the line. Because A couldn't go on. If we're saying there's no A on this line, A must be 8, because if A was 7 and B was 8, there needs to be a 3-cell sequence involving an 8, and there couldn't be because you can't put 8, 9, 10 on it. So there is an A on this line, because you can't put 7. If this was 7, you need to put 6 on it somewhere, if there's no 8 on it, and you can't. So A is on the line, A is not there, A is not there because A is in one of these, so A is in one of these 2 cells. And that's okay, that's quite good, because A being in one of these cells tells me that that's not A and tells me this is A. I don't know if that is going to do anything, but at least it's another journey along another step along our journey, isn't it? To working out what on earth's going on. So now A is here, A is here, so we've got sort of an awkward arrangement of A's. But now we know 7 and 8 are on this sequence, and there's no 6 on it. So we do know there is a 9 on it. Now that 9 is a red digit, which is either here or here. So one of these is now red. And either of them can be red, I think. This looks very South African flaggy to me. Is it South African flag? I think it might be. Okay. Now, can we put this line here? Doesn't have B on it, does it? Oh, but it could be 8, 9. This could be 8, 9. Or it's 7 and 6. Yellow is 1, isn't it? So, but we don't know whether it has got, we don't know whether this line has 1 on it yet. We know it's got 2 on it, and therefore it has to have 3 on it. But the 3 could be in a variety of places. The 3 can't be there. Can the 3 be here? Yes. Oh yes, yes it can. All right. What about? I just don't have. I feel almost like it's 5s that are the difficult digit here. Or do I know what this did? Right, let's take another look at this line again and just see if we've worked out any more than we knew before. We now have got all of our orange digits on this line, for sure. So the only other digits on this line are grey or green. So this is grey or green. If it was grey, it would have to be 3. And that would make this green. And if it's green, so this is a 3-5 pair, I think. That might be wrong. Let me just think about that again. This definitely can't be 4 or 2. So if it's grey, it is 3. And if it's green, it's obviously 5. So that is a 3-5 pair. That loses its 3ification. Is that helpful? Could be. So this line's now had, it's had 2, 3 and 4. It's had a second 3. It's got a second 2 here, so it needs another 4 on it somewhere, which could be here. Or it could be in one of those 2 squares. And we don't know which again. Ah, dearie me. Sorry, I'm sure it's fairly obvious to some people what I'm meant to do here. Not, unfortunately, to me. Do I want this? Which way round do I want these greens to go? I don't know. It could be a green in one of these. If there's a green in one of these, what does that mean? That means this is a 2-4 pair. So that would become 3-4 pair. Oh no. Oh, this is bad news bears, isn't it? I tried so hard to get this solved. And I'm failing. It's probably is Sudoku as well, isn't it? That's a depressing thought. If that's a 4, what's this digit? That's going to be the 3. So if this is a 4, this is a 5. Because it can't be, 4 can't be consecutive with 6, 7 or 8. So if that's a 4, this is a 5. So this would be a 4-5 pair. That looks fairly reasonable actually, doesn't it? Oh, can we say... Yeah, one thing we can say actually about this is it can't be a yellow-red pair, can it? Because yellow and red are 1 and 9. And neither of those is consecutive with 6. So we could tie these together. But so this is not. So this square is 1 or 9 by Sudoku. That's a small point. Probably doesn't matter. Okay, so now we know that there is definitely an extreme digit on here. So if that extreme digit was 1, this would have to be a 2 here and a 1 here. Yeah, we probably just have to pencil mark this a bit more fully, I think. If this was a... Ah, yeah, you can't put 1 on it. There's no 2 on it. Oh my goodness, it's that. I'm so sorry. That's so embarrassing. You just have to forgive me. I just didn't see it. I didn't see it, and it's totally and utterly obvious. And you've all been shouting at me for probably 15 minutes at the end of this incredible marathon of a solve. But you are absolutely in your rights to shout at me. Okay. Can you put 1 on this line? No, because it would need a 2 on it, and it doesn't seem to be able to have 1. So the yellow digit is not in these cells. And that means this cell is the only position that 1 can go in. Now that's going to do all sorts of things, I think. Let's hope so. It certainly does this, doesn't it? So it makes this 3 and this 5. And finally, we've just figured out something that we should have known ages ago, which is that this is, you've guessed it, green. This is most certainly not green. This is now 4. That's 3. So this is 3. This is 4. This is 3. I've got a funny... Oh no. Oh no, the palindrome gets me out of trouble with this 2-4 pair. Oh golly, I wonder if that's been available for a while as well, but I didn't see it. It doesn't matter if it has. The 2-4 gets resolved. The 3-4 over here gets resolved, so now we can take 3 out of these squares. Now we know that one's A, look, because that's the 7 or the 8, so that's got to be the 4, which means that that becomes all sorted out. If this is A, this is A, lovely. Oh, this is going to get exciting again now. Oh, this is great. Look, now we've got a 7-8 pair on this Renrenbanban, and Darth Paradox. That means there's either a 6 on it, well there isn't, or there's a 9 on it, and there must be. And that... Oh, no, you're kidding me. Well, in fact, that is a 9, I've just realised. Because where does the 9 go in this box? It's only got one position to go in. It's got to be here. And that means this is a 9 by the power of Sudoku of all things, which means that's not red. That's not red, and it's not 9. So that deals with the 7, 8, 9 triple, and it plonks a 3 in here to be consecutive with the 1, 2, 3. So that means this turns white. That seems to have to be the red digit. Yeah, it does. That has to be the red digit in box 8, which means this is the red digit in box 2. This 3 is definitely a grey digit. 3 goes here by our old friend Sudoku. I've not been looking for 3s in the corner, you'll have to forgive me. It doesn't look like I've missed one. Oh, of course I haven't missed one. There's only 1 5s 9s in this puzzle. Oh dear, I'm finally losing it. No jokes, thank you. Right, so what do we need now? 5. I can just place it there. That's a 5. So this is a 5. Let's sort out the colours as we go. So that's a 1, which is the yellow digit. This is a yellow digit. That is a 1. So this is a 1, and it's yellow. This is fully yellow, that's fully green. So that seems to have to be green. The great thing about this, probably famous last words, is it is actually working, isn't it? We are going through and I think we've just got this. We've got this 7-8 deadly pattern left. I'm not sure. It can't be deadly. How are we going to resolve this? Good question. Just thinking about that. It must be right. So it must be the it's this Renban, isn't it? Yes. It's making A into 8. So let's double click those, because it's got to be consecutive with 9, and double click what's left now. Let's go to this one, and they've all got to be 7s. Oh, this one didn't get. Oh, I don't think I labelled that one. So therefore, yeah, that looks like it's an 8. And there is. Come on. Yes. The solution is correct. I've got no idea how it knows that, but it does. It says I took no time at all. In fact, I took 130 minutes to solve that puzzle. And I think I'm the second one who has managed to do it. And I know that I got very bogged down at the end with the 2 here. But before that, I hope you enjoyed that. That was some absolutely extraordinary logic in that puzzle. It's an incredible construction from Darth Paradox. Incredible. I mean, where does this idea come from? How do you think you can execute this? And even if you had that thought in isolation, how would you go about setting something so pretty? The logic in the outer rings of this puzzle, well, it's just incredible. Incredible stuff. And the 4, I mean, this 6, I can't remember how I got it, but learning that this was an orange digit and had to be sort of adjacent or in a sequence with a 5, and therefore this 4 was forcing the shape of everything. I mean, it was quite magnificent. The positioning of the 1s and 9s and the 5s around the borders, and the fact that you could sort of work it all out. That is. It's a puzzle I wouldn't want to attempt every day, simply because I would be a broken man at the end of 2 or 3 days of this. But to do once in a while and actually have that sort of total endorphin rush, or rushes, as you discover the secrets and then finally actually finish it, it's really rather pleasing. Thank you so much for watching. I'm sorry to take so much of your time this evening. I hope you enjoyed it. Do let me know in the comments. I do know that this is probably not the video that people want to see every day of the week, but I hope once in a while you'll forgive me. And we'll be back later with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic.